SummerSlam 2025 has left us with a lot to talk about, given the sheer amount of craziness that we got throughout the course of SummerSlam 2025's weekend. And what was supposed to be my 2025 SummerSlam recap video, that unfortunately is not going to happen because yesterday, when I was supposed to record it and upload it, I ended up having a terrible migraine all day long, so that took me out of commission, and the last thing that I wanted to do was stare at a computer screen and make a video. So I'm going to change things up a little bit with this video. Instead of recapping 2025 SummerSlam, because I'm sure we all know what happened, and you really don't need to sit through another recap of me just talking about stuff that you already know happened. I have made a list starting from 5 and working our way down to 1 about what I'm most excited for after SummerSlam. So that is the purpose of today's video. I know it's not a traditional recap video, but hopefully this can be a fun little alternative to what the recap videos are. And before we get too far ahead in the video, I want to say that if you are a WWE fan, consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. That is all we post is WWE related content. So if you're a WWE fan, consider subscribing. It's free. You can always change your mind later. So again, this video is going to be me ranking from 5 to 1 about what I am most excited for after SummerSlam. And we are going to start at number 5 with AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio continuing their feud. It was confirmed last night on Monday Night Raw that we are going to get more out of AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio, and I am all here for it. That feud was one of my favorites leading up to SummerSlam this year. It was just such an overall fun feud between Dominic Mysterio having the doctor's note, between AJ Styles continuing to pester him, continuing to just show up as random jobs. Obviously, we had him showing up as the valet, we had him showing up as a janitor, we had him showing up as part of WWE's medical team. We had AJ leaving stuff for Dominic in the Judgment Day clubhouse. It was just such an overall fun feud because it was so unpredictable because you never knew where AJ Styles was going to pop up next. And not only was their feud really good, but I also really enjoyed their SummerSlam match. Obviously, all the callbacks to Eddie Guerrero was a super fun tie-in. So not only was that feud fun as heck, but their match at SummerSlam was also just so much fun. So I'm really glad that we're getting more between these two, and I'm hoping that we're going to get a match at Clash in Paris, and we get yet another glorious AJ Styles entrance in France. Moving on from one feud that we do know is continuing to one that I hope is going to be continuing. At number 4, I have Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill hopefully continuing this feud. I say hopefully because obviously SmackDown hasn't happened yet, so we don't know if it is continuing or not, but I really hope it is. Because I don't think we got enough out of these two. Because these two absolutely showed out at SummerSlam. That was such a pleasant surprise because I think we were all kind of nervous coming into that match about what we were going to get. Obviously, Jade Cargill has been criticized time and time again after her matches for not necessarily being the cleanest. And I thought the majority of the workload was going to come from Tiffany Stratton, and that made me very nervous because Tiffany, while she is very good, is still very young. But these two absolutely impressed the heck out of me. Easily one of, if not the best Jade Cargill match that we have gotten so far in WWE, and Tiffany Stratton was also so damn good in that ring, which we all knew she is, but how was it all going to work with someone like a Jade Cargill? And considering that that match had pretty much no build at all coming into it, it was such a pleasant surprise to see. And if that feud is to continue, then we can actually start building a proper story. And it wouldn't surprise me at all to see a possible heel turn coming out of all this. Conveniently enough, SmackDown is without a top female heel. And if either Jade or Tiffany were to turn heel, that would instantly make a top heel in the women's division on Friday Night SmackDown. So I think it makes a lot of sense to continue this feud, have one turn heel, and then that solves a lot of different problems. So I hope this feud continues. I thought that match at SummerSlam was really freaking good. And I'm hoping that we can actually build a proper story this time. From 4 to 3, we have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair as the women's tag team champions. I've talked a lot in recent videos about how good these two are working together right now. The dynamic between the two and just the little subtle stuff that they're doing is just making it so damn enjoyable to watch. We obviously had the cheerleader moments. We had Charlotte Flair saving Alexa Bliss at Evolution, which we have never really seen Charlotte Flair do that. And again, it's just the little stuff that they're doing, like what we saw on Monday Night Raw, where Charlotte Flair came out, did her intro, and Alexa Bliss kind of cut her off before Charlotte could get her pyro off, and Charlotte even made mention of this. Like, you can just tell that they're having so much fun working together, and that is such a breath of fresh air because you can genuinely tell when someone is having fun. And these two are just having the time of their lives right now. And I'm really curious to see what kind of feuds we can get between these two and the rest of the women's tag team division. And maybe, just maybe, we can start rebuilding that division a little bit more. Because since we had the whole Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi thing happen, then we had Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan have the titles, and they were doing an okay job with them. Then Liv Morgan gets hurt, and then you could just tell that that division needed a bit of a reset, and I think that this team can provide that reset. At number 2, I have possibly the biggest moment of SummerSlam 2025, and that is Brock Lesnar returning. Now, I was able to watch night 2 of SummerSlam with a friend who is a wrestling fan, so he understood how big of a moment that truly was. And I wish that there could have been a camera on our faces when that music hit, because that was as genuine of a shock as you could possibly get. And then we had to explain to our non-wrestling friends how big that was. Brock Lesnar returning was one of the last things that I had happening at SummerSlam. He was maybe the second to last person that I saw showing up, and the person behind him is Vince McMahon. That is how big that return was at SummerSlam, and I'm curious to see, with him going after John Cena, what are we going to get from Brock Lesnar? What are we going to get promo-wise from Brock Lesnar? What are we going to get character-wise out of Brock Lesnar? And then you want to take a look at the other side. What are we going to get from John Cena in terms of promos? Because if there is one guy who could very well bring up Brock Lesnar's outside stuff happening, it's John Cena. Excitement maybe isn't necessarily the right word for this one. It's more me being interested than anything else. Now, don't get me wrong, I am excited to see how all this plays out, but I'm more interested, if that makes any sense. And at number 1, I have whatever the heck is happening with Seth Rollins, CM Punk, LA Knight, and Roman Reigns. And what we got on Monday Night Raw really did feel like it was an early glimpse of what we could be seeing at War Games this year. And I'm really curious to see how all this plays out, because we know that Roman Reigns is going to be leaving to film Street Fighter. So that's going to be a significant amount of time that he's going to be away from WWE TV. So how is that going to play into all of this? And before anyone says that they wrote him off on Monday Night Raw last night, I beg to differ, because we have seen a lot worse happen to guys that are being written off TV. Now, one scenario that I could see happening is possibly a 3-man tag match, possibly happening at Clash in Paris. One team would obviously have Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. The other team having Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and LA Knight. Now, the tricky thing in that is, obviously, after last night, LA Knight is pretty pissed off at CM Punk, and rightfully so, because CM Punk ruined that match for LA Knight. So I'm really excited to see how all of that plays out, because there are so many moving pieces to that feud, and there's so many different feuds in between the big feud, and that feels like it could be either Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. So I'm so excited to see how all of that plays out. Hopefully we get just a fun ride to close out 2025. So this is where I want to hear from you guys. Now that SummerSlam 2025 is officially in the books, what are you most excited to see next? And let me know what you think about my list. Do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? Let me know why you agree or disagree. Again, there was a lot of good coming off of SummerSlam 2025. There were some bad, though. I know a lot of people are really mixed on Brock Lesnar coming back. I know a lot of people are mixed on Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. A lot of people did not like that match. Personally, I loved it. That's why it was on my list. So, as always, let me know that stuff down below in the comments. And while you're down there, swing by the description and click the Linktree link. That is the only link in bio for a reason, and that is because it'll take you to all of the social medias for this channel, and I do suggest going and checking out our X page. Besides YouTube, I am most active over on X. We do updates for Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and the PLEs. And above all else, I want the X page to be a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling. I know X can be a bit of a scary place, but I really do think that there is still some good left on that app. And my main goal with that X page is to have a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling, especially if you're like me and you don't have a lot of people to talk to about wrestling. I mentioned that I was able to watch night 2 of SummerSlam with a friend who was a wrestling fan, and he's about it. So whenever there is an opportunity to get together and watch some WWE, we always do, and it is always a blast. So if you are like me and you don't have a lot of people to talk to about wrestling, swing by an upcoming episode of Monday Night Raw. We got Friday Night SmackDown coming up. Join in on the conversation. Maybe it's for you at the end of the day. With all that said and done, that is going to do it for this video here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. Both are free and both really help out the channel a lot. And if you have made it to this point of the video, I want to say thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy day to watch these videos here. As always, stay tuned for more WWE content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.